It was a speech given to graduates of Northern Essex Community College in 2004, given by the host of Hollywood Squares and America's Funniest Videos, but now known as co-host, and you might say referee, of the very popular Dancing with the Stars. Here's Tom Bergeron.
Graduates, faculty, staff, family, friends, and those of you who just came in to get out of the rain, it is my pleasure to be here. It's an honor to be here today on this special day. And I am aware that this day, this time, is really about you, the graduates. I mean, I'm cognizant of that as your commencement speaker, but for a moment, just appreciate the pressure I'm under. What a commencement speaker is supposed to do is to give you, in as pithy a manner as possible, an inspiring series of thoughts, things that ideally will change your lives. So that years later you look back and go, you know, I was adrift until I heard Bergeron. Then it all came together for me. And I'm supposed to do that in 15 minutes. Now 13. So I was feeling a little nervous about the whole thing, and I figured, what would you do if you had to do this? And then I realized, I'll just go on Google. And I typed in commencement speech cliches, because I wanted to give you the real meat from commencement speeches through time. And here are the top two. The first one, you are the future. Now that's great. You're the future. That's a good thing. I saw several of you sit up a little taller when I said, yes, I'm the future. But when you peel that back a little bit, here's what is really being said. The people who say you are the future are people like me, probably 20 to 40 years older than you. It's another way of us saying to you, we're about ready to stop. The hot potato that we have been baking is yours now. Good luck. So I thought, well, maybe that's not the one I want to use. So I went to the next commencement speech cliche, and that was, I have to get in the right posture, you will look back on these days as being the best days of your life. Now, all right, now wait a minute. Now you look around, there's a tent full of family, friends, loved ones. It's a wonderful experience. Drink it in. It's great. But when you leave here, do you really want to think that from this afternoon on, it's all downhill, boys and girls? So I figured maybe this isn't the approach to take, the commencement speech cliches. A good friend of mine in LA, who's a writer-producer of many years, has a great line. He says, whenever he was writing, he said, what piece of dirt do I stand on that nobody else stands on? And that would help him decide what to write. And he went on to create the Dick Van Dyke Show from that very philosophy. So I thought, what piece of dirt do I stand on that no one else does? It might be some help here today. Am I down to 9 minutes now, by the way? And I thought, well, you know, no one else hosts Hollywood Squares and America's Funniest Videos. Maybe I could share life lessons I've learned from those shows. From America's Funniest Videos, here's what I've learned. Don't buy a trampoline. If as you go through life you find you have enemies, buy them a trampoline. If when you're having a party, you blindfold one of the participants and hand them a big stick, and turn them around in circles and point them towards a piñata. Stand back. If you are a guy, stand way back. Because they swing wild and they swing low. From Hollywood Squares, I learned, trust your gut instinct. People will look you in the eye, they will smile at you, and they will bluff. Some people call it lie. In the game show world, we call it bluff. Another thing I learned from Hollywood Squares is to, now this is basic, pay attention. For example, true story. Guy had 2 X's in a row. It's a blank square up here. Charo is in the blank square, shaking her surgically enhanced coochie to get his attention. And the guy picks Gilbert Gottfried, who says, "How could you mess that up? It's tic-tac-toe." And so during the commercial, I said to the guy, I said, what were you thinking? And he said, well, I knew where I wanted to go, I just didn't know where I was. And I thought, now there's something to live by, right? It's not enough to know where you want to go, it's very important to know where you are. And that's true whether you're playing tic-tac-toe, whether you're developing foreign policy, or we don't have that kind of time, or whether you're plotting the rest of your lives. A friend of mine who's a teacher said to me recently, last week as a matter of fact, he said, you know, I've been a teacher for 20 years. I realized I spend so much time thinking about the next quiz, the next test, the next quarter, semester, vacation, class, that suddenly my life was going on right under me. Sort of like Charlene's quote of John Lennon, you know, life is what happens when you're making other plans. So to get rid of that first commencement speech cliche, you are the future, fine. But don't live in the future. The magic, I really believe this, it's why I came up here without any notes. The magic happens in the moment, in what's happening, in the electricity that's happening in the moment, the present moment of our lives. It's the only reality. Future, past illusions, figments of our imagination. And that gets rid of the second commencement speech cliche, in my belief. You will look back on these days as the best days of your life. My belief and my wish for you is that if you are aware at each moment of your life where you are, regardless of where you want to be, because that has a nice way of changing during the journey. If you're aware of where you are, then someday, years from now, you'll look back on these days as being among the best days of your life. And that is a life really well lived. Happy graduation. It has been my pleasure to be here. Thank you.